Welcome back to the Airman Hair Show. No free promo. I know I'm like a week, 2 weeks late, but if y'all haven't yet, make sure y'all go check out Mike Beasley's interview on Shannon Sharp's channel. Shannon Sharp do a lot of too much giggling for me. He laugh a lot, especially about people crying and through their pain. But always asks the right questions. I applaud him, Cam Newton too, for providing a platform, just for people to come on and tell their side of the story, because a lot of stuff we don't know, and Shannon asks the right questions, stuff we don't even know about, stuff we want to hear. He asks all the right questions, y'all. And he did it with Cat. He do it with everybody. But if y'all haven't watched it, make sure y'all go in there and check it out, because it's a good interview. It's long than a mug. It's 2-3 hours long. Don't get me wrong. I just had it in my ears. I was doing what I was doing, but it takes a while to listen to. But it gives you insight on Mike Beasley, who's to me, especially the one and done's, best college basketball player I've ever seen. Especially out of the one and done's. I know they like to say KD, Carmelo, AD, Kyrie. They ain't had nothing on Bees. If you telling the truth, if you actually go and watch it, like, he was a man amongst boys out there. But if y'all, like I say, go check it out. He just talking about how he grew up around lethal shooter. KD and them, they ain't take him in, but that's how he learned how to like basketball. He learned how to rebound. That's how he learned the game. He moved with Nolan Smith, Duke's finest. They kind of took him in, helped him out, but he was always like a loner. But listening to it, you could tell how eloquent and how just the way he speaks is just so well. And I didn't know that. Like Stephen A. I ain't gonna just point out Stephen A. because you got how Skip did Terrell Owens. They didn't have this platform to speak their truth, so they made like they was bad people. But how Stephen A. and them did Michael Beasley, like he just was a bad person, this, he, that, and listening to him speak and the way he talked and the stories he told, it's just like, it'll blow your mind. Like, this is a smart guy. Like, when you listen to him talk, like, his vocabulary is, way better than I was expecting it to be honest with you. The way that he spoke, it was just, it was good. So if y'all got 2 to 3 hours, like I say, go check it out. He talked about how he had, it's pretty much how he was raised. They didn't really have much, His mom was tall. He was born, light skinned, blue eyes, gray eyes, whatever color his eyes was, and everybody else dark skinned. So he was always, sort of like an outcast. But his mom taught them, how to survive. And, they laughed at him before for stealing a pizza. And he said, he had to steal the whole box. I couldn't just get one for me because I come home with no pizza. For everybody, now I'm getting in trouble. That pizza's getting took or it's gone. You got to bring some for everybody. So when he bring the whole box of pizza home, he the man for the day. He first on the video game, first in the shower, whatever the case may be. I know how it goes when you got a lot of siblings. You want to be first. You racing to do everything. And he was the man that day for bringing that pizza home. But that's the way he was raised. People judge him off the decisions he made, but those were the choices that he had. So you can't judge people off the decisions they make when they're limited choices, unlike, a lot of people. He spoke about needing his father and how women keep kids from their father, how his mom did him. Deep down inside, he needed his father. And when he actually talked to his father, his dad was like, I'm looking for you just like you was looking for me. But your mom kept me away from you, and just know you need that. Like I spoke on it before, like men need a father figure in their life. Preferably if they father, not if we get, some of them are deadbeats. Don't get me wrong, but most of them not. Most men that I know, they want to be in their kids' lives. Granted, they want to be with the mom or not, whatever the case may be. They want to be in their kids' lives, But he just talked about, he spoke on that. A good quote I did, like he was just saying, back in the day, it was cool to be humble, and what he say? Wise men don't say nothing, but today, it's closed mouths don't get fed. We was taught back in the day, be humble, be quiet, but today you gotta be boisterous and you gotta be loud. He spoke about how people judged him just because he was quiet and this and that. He was like deep down inside, he was afraid. Like Brian would look at him, LeBron would look at him and like, you look scary and this and that. And he like, no, I'm just watching you, D-Wade, Bosh, Birdman. I'm just watching y'all chop it up. Like, y'all, I look up to y'all. I'm just sitting here watching, but they, took it as something else. But he like, he just couldn't express how he felt, all the time. And he was afraid to speak how he felt all the time. And he just didn't know how that father figure. He didn't know how, to speak to people and let them know, how we felt. So he was just always just misunderstood. And Shannon just provide that platform for him. What else I got on here? He always spoke about the AAU circuit and how those people get all this money and then give nothing back to them. Where he talked D Rose, all the guys he hung out with. And they're like, yeah, you ain't get the $1,000 when you went here, the 15 you got here. And you like, no, my family is struggling. My mom never got this. And then even further on, once he got older, those people, as he got older, those people, he had to pay back still. Like they got receipts from when he was 13. Like, hey, I bought you these shoes. Hey, I got you this. On top of the money they was getting, now he had to pay these same people back. But he paid them all back, so he ain't indebted to nobody. But like I say, y'all, go and watch the interview because it was really insightful. It's long, like I said, but, watch it here, watch some there if you have to. But if you're a basketball enthusiast, if you're a basketball fan, check it out because it took me a minute to watch it, but I watched it. Moving right along, I think I covered pretty much everything on that. Like I said, just go watch and y'all will see, y'all will understand. But man, did those Knicks put a whooping on Atlanta last night. We was at the park, me and the boys hooping. I looked at the scrum like, yeah, ain't no use in rushing home to watch that. The most insightful thing was that when Brunson ran over Boosie and knocked Boosie down. That was the best thing that happened in that game. Like, I think they lost by like 50 plus. So, granted, the Hawks are rebuilding. They had a good year. They do got CJ. CJ struggled a little bit, but they're a rebuilding team. Hopefully, they'll come back stronger next year with Johnson, Kuminga, Dice, and the rest of those guys. But man, we'll see how far the Knicks can go. They moving on in the playoffs. The 76ers beat the Celtics 3-3. That's gonna be a good game 7. Hopefully Embiid, a little healthier. Hopefully Paul George bring it. Maxey speed kills. He had 30 last game. Hopefully 76ers bring it. Hopefully VJ have a good game. The Celtics, they shoot way too many threes. I know they say live by the 3, die by the 3, but they shoot way too many threes, and they dying by the 3. Hopefully Tatum is good. I've seen him, putting heat on his calf, at the end of the game on the bench. So hopefully the legs not bothering him. He's going to have a couple hiccups here and there, but hopefully he's okay for game 7 because ultimately we all want to see a good game. The last game. This was a good one for me. One of my new favorite players, Jaden McDaniels, who everybody said couldn't score, couldn't do this, couldn't do that. They put out the Nuggets. I'm happy they put out the Nuggets. Y'all know how I feel about Jokic. I know he's great. I know he is. But to me, he's saying whatever. He ain't played against Shaq, Hakeem, Mutombo, Kenyon Martin. He didn't get to play against all those Patrick Ewing, those big guys. In the league now, it's like no real big guys. And I think Gobert did a good job on him. I know how to give Gobert a lot of flack, whatever you want to call it. But he did a good job on Jokic. Granted, Jokic still had 28, 9, and 10. Like, man, that's a great game. But for Jokic in that type of game, he should have brought more. You expect more points. But, that's a great game for a normal player. But that just shows how good he is with those numbers. And I'm still saying how he didn't have a good game. So, but the Wolves with no Ant-Man, with no DiVincenzo, with no Ayo, who just had 43 the other night. Like, all those guys not playing. McDaniels getting 31, who, like I said before, they say couldn't score. They pulled it out. Julius Randle had 18, 4, and 5. Gobert put on a good defensive effort. Terrence Shannon, 24 and 6. Come out of nowhere, getting to the cup. He is straight left hand, like Julius Randle, Terrence Jones type of player, just straight left. But when you ain't on a scouting report like that, that happens, and he got the job done. Murray struggled. Johnson had 27-8. He had a good game, but when Murray's struggling and Jokic not getting 30-some in that game, I think it cost him. And I'm not expecting, like I say, McDaniels to have a good game like that. It cost the Nuggets. I'm happy the Nuggets are out, but I don't know what the Wolves going to do next series against the Spurs, especially with if them 3 out, it's going to get ugly against the Spurs. The Spurs on another level. We already know how Wemby is, so but we'll see if those guys come back. We'll see what happens in the next series. But y'all, let me know who y'all got tonight, man. We got the Pistons playing against the Magic. They are in Orlando. They are up 3-2. Granted, the Pistons are the 1 seed. Like I say, the Magic, they just buying time. Like with Banchero and the coach, I don't know. If they win this series, can you still fire the coach? Let me know. Y'all think they should still fire their coach? Trade Banchero, which I don't think they would do, but maybe y'all might know more than me. I don't watch Orlando. I honestly don't even watch the Pistons that much up until the playoffs. You know, Fame always tell me how the Thompson twin can dribble and can do this and do that. Every time I see him, he just swings. He's a good defensive player. He's athletic, so he can rebound. But outside of that, I don't see much from him. I think his brother for the Rockets is, a little better. I don't see him dribbling or shooting when I watch. But we'll see if K can put them on their back, see if they can pull it out and force a Game 7. If not, Orlando going to move right along, and we'll have to see what their future looks like. The Cavs and the Raptors. Cavs up 3-2. I don't think the Raptors got enough to beat the Cavs. I think James going to turn it on Mobley. Allen still haven't had a good game, but I don't think they need him for this series. But if they don't win it this one, I think they'll get Game 7. But like I said, we'll see tonight. The last game, the Lakers and the Rockets. They was up 3-0. Rockets have won 2 straight. KD's still out, as far as I know. We'll see how that game goes. Hopefully Lakers can close out. If not, it's going to get ugly trying to go Game 7. Anytime you're trying to go to a Game 7 with a team that you're supposed to beat, they get hot and do like those, the old Rockets did against the Warriors and go, 0 for 26 or miss 26, 27, however many straight threes they miss. You just go cold and it gets ugly. It gets dark and it gets scary. And you'll be headed to Cancun. I'm out, y'all. Peace.